Infants in Nunavut have the highest hospitalization rate for RSV in the world. Yeah, the world. And now a new recommendation from the National Advisory Committee on Immunization could be the key to changing all of that. Joining me now with more is Dr. Anne Banerjee. She is an infectious disease specialist who has been personally leading the charge on this effort. We're talking decades, Doctor. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Yeah, I want to know what you feel this morning. I mean, this recommendation says First Nations, Métis, and Inuit communities in remote areas should have priority for RSV vaccines. This is something you have been pushing for 30 years. How does this feel?
Well, if relieved that NACI has said that made these recommendations, it's a matter of them actually implementing it. It's a long time coming. I mean, as you said, I've documented 30 years ago that Inuit babies have the highest rate of admission in the world with RSV. They have complications. They are medevaced generally outside their community into these hospitals and ICUs, sometimes away from their parents, or if the parents come or a mother comes, they're overwhelmed. They don't speak the language, it's far away. So it's a serious issue. So I'm glad that they're starting to address it.
Let's talk about the stats here, because in this country, about 1% of all infants are hospitalized with RSV in the first year of their life. But that number can rise to be as high as 20 to 50% in remote communities. It's a huge number. What makes these children especially vulnerable?
Well, there's a lot of different reasons. I published a case control study about this, but part of it is living in the remote communities. You know, if a child gets really sick, then there's no hospital. There's usually a health center, but there's no doctor. And so if a child needs to be admitted to the hospital, they have to wait for a medevac team to come by air and then evacuate them. And that can take hours or sometimes days. And in the meantime, this child can deteriorate. So there's other issues like overcrowding, poverty, poor nutrition, parental nutrition, etc., exposure to cigarette smoke or wood-burning stoves for the First Nations. So there's a lot of reasons.
Okay, so we have talked about the fact that this is really step one. We need the infrastructure in place to ensure that these children get the support they need. So what is the next step here?
Okay, so I'll just give you a little bit of background. There was apelivizumab, which was licensed in 2000, and it was given to high-risk infants, premature babies, and those with cardiac disease. And I've showed that these babies, the Indigenous babies, the Inuit babies, have about up to 10 times the rate of admission. Now there's a new antibody. It's easier to give. It's one dose. So what we need to do is make sure that there's the resources in place. So that means educating the nurses, the other healthcare staff, how to implement this medication. They should be doing that now. And educating the families to say, this is finally something that we can give to your baby that will hopefully greatly reduce the risk of them being admitted with RSV. So there's a lot of work to be done, and they need to start doing it now. I just want to say one thing.
Please do.
That it took 250,000 people, 250,000 signatures on change.org, plus my research of 30 years to make this change happen.
So a real effort all around. Dr. Anne Banerjee, thank you for your time this morning.
Thank you.
All right, I'm going to...
Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked this, be sure to subscribe here, or you can check out more Your Morning videos right here.